how much does landscaping cost? That's a question I get quite a bit, and it's a tough one to answer, but the way that I start is there's a lot of research that's been done on value of renovations and what that does to your home and that sort of thing. And 8 to 12% is the range that we come up with as far as being commensurate with the value of your home. So if you want your landscaping to be commensurate in value to the value of your home, you can spend 8 to 12% of the value of your home and expect to see at least that value hold its value with the proper plan and the proper implementation when you go to sell the house. Now, that's not the primary reason to invest in landscaping. You want to invest in it for yourself. You're not doing it necessarily for a return. You want to look after yourself first. But just as far as let's start with a number and work up or down from there, that's kind of what you're looking at. And so that shocks a lot of people in some cases when you say, okay, a $400,000 house, I think the range on that is like $32,000 to $48,000. Now, that is the total budget. And what I encourage people to do is yeah, there's some value and some benefit to being able to bang that all off in 1 year at one time, be done, start getting enjoyment out of it. But that's not always realistic for a lot of people. Like, you know, that's a lot of money to be able to put into your home or put into anything, quite frankly. And so that's why we really encourage you to work with a designer, whether it's with us or whether it's with somebody else, but to get a plan of what you want that yard to look like. And I know for our designer, Jesse, it's a tough thing to try and think about and try and balance with the customer because, you know, we might talk to them and say, okay, well, we only have a $10,000 budget. Okay, well, $10,000 is a lot of money, but when it comes to landscaping a house, sometimes that doesn't go very far. And so what we need to decide is $10,000 the total budget for the lifetime of the project, or is it what we have to spend now? And maybe we can look at staging this over a number of years. So we start at the house in the backyard and we work our way out, or we finish the front yard first and then we worry about the backyard next year or the year after when funds allow. We need to get a plan for all of this. And so it starts with the landscape plan and then it moves forward from there. And so obviously that 8 to 12% range isn't a have to spend. It's something that gets that ball rolling and gets the conversation started. And so that's why it's really important when we're talking to you about budget, we're not trying to just say, okay, well, how much money does that couple have so that we can get all of it for ourselves? What we want to do is give you the best experience for your dollar. We want to make you feel good about the money that you spend and make sure that you're getting value in return for that dollar. So we're going to find out how you want to use your space, what's important to you and what's not. And because I've built a pretty darn good team here of people that have been trained in the industry, have gone through lots of different yards and worked with a ton of people on creating their yards, we're able to try and cut through some of that and say, okay, well, here, if we've done the plan and it's come out to $30,000, but we only want to spend $20,000, there's a variety of different ways that we can get there. And usually it's not blaming the contractor for being too high a price, because these guys are trained, they put a lot of work into their craft, and it costs a good dollar to get people to come out and trained people to come out and work in your yard in a labor-intensive fashion. And so we either need to stretch that out and get it over a series of time. You can do some of the work yourself, put in some of that sweat equity, and we can help you do that. That's one way to save some money. Or we need to adjust the scope of the project, or maybe it's a combination of all of those things. So that's kind of my long and short answer to the budget question. I mean, you take that 8 to 12% and you look at that and say, okay, that's what we could spend to be commensurate with the value of your house. Now, some people put a greater value on your yard than the house. I mean, I certainly do, obviously, in the business, but some people don't. And so, okay, that provides our framework to get started at least. And now we can talk about, okay, well, yeah, there's that $32,000 to $48,000 range on our $400,000 house. But you know what? I think where we're actually more comfortable with is $20,000. It's kind of like buying a house. You can go and you can see what you can get approved for your mortgage, but just because you got approved for a $700,000 mortgage doesn't mean that you have to buy a $700,000 house. You can scale it back to what your comfort level is. So that's kind of a conversation about how much landscaping costs, what we can do to try and mitigate some of those costs with whether it's changing in scope, helping you do the work yourself to put in some of that sweat equity, or staging it over a number of years. You know, I'd invite you. That's a lot of the value that we have here at the Rusty Shovel. We've got people that can help you get over that frustration of, okay, well, shoot, it's going to cost me $32,000 to landscape my yard, but I don't have $32,000, so I guess I should just give up on my plan and put the grass seed down and be done with it. Well, we still want you to get that functional yard, and we can help you do it. So let's have that conversation. We'll work through it with you. We'll work with the contractor, we'll work with the homeowner, we'll help you do it yourself. Whatever way, we just want to find solutions so that you can get the best value for your money that's spent out in your yard and you can start enjoying it more.